Hey everyone, this is Lucid. Welcome back to another episode with Middle-Aged Ulm. It's turn 12 in our Let's Play, and we have been basically getting ready for a war with Scaleria, but we've been doing a lot of the diplomatic footwork to kind of make sure we're entering at the right time and all of that jazz, and trying to make sure our other borders are secured. So we have a message from Agartha saying, yeah, this is a tight map, but I guess I will accept that map since you have a Scaleria problem that you should nip in the bud. Which is true. A message from Bandarlog. It seems we might be neighbors sooner than I thought. You should know that Bandarlog claims ownership of Tentacle Deep, which is a lake. Whilst we are some time away from being able to go underwater, these waters are an important holiday spot for us. Rent from the beach houses of Verdant Valley are highly dependent on travelers who holiday there for fishing. As all know, the poisonous excretions from the squids and the eels that live there are intolerable to humans, but very much prized by our guests. I wonder where 55 is. Let's take a look real quick. Okay, so here is 55, so I think he is saying he wants all of this. Didn't he call it something else, though? Tentacles Deep 72? Oh, that's this one. So that's the name of this one. Anyway. And then a message has arrived from Bandarlog. Scritch, scratch, bump silence. Luis, you yell. What noise? Okay, we're not going to read all of that. But you can... Okay, this is a little too random for me to read, but you can read through it. And then we have a message... Okay, we have an unexpected event. Okay, so dormant pretender gods are awakening, which is important. We have a message from Goat's Crag. Barbarian scouts have been caught and interrogated. They seem to be preparing for a large-scale attack. So that's right here. Now, we have a ton of PD. I'm not really worried about barbarians versus this. But these guys are going to move in patrol. In case they come in, we should be able to kill them. Our spy and our prophet has died from a disease, so rest in peace, prophet. I have to figure out who I want for my next prophet. I kind of want to make this guy a prophet, but on the other hand, I kind of would like... we're not a nation that has easy access to Holy Threes, so I kind of would like somebody that can fly, or somebody that can cloud trapeze or teleport. So I could do an astral random and he could teleport, that's probably the easiest thing. Or I could get an air random and they could cloud trapeze if I forge them a winged helmet. Or I could wait until my... I don't know if you can do the Iron Angels. Because I know they can't learn magic, I don't know if they can't learn holy. So, anyway. But I have to figure out who that will be. I probably should go ahead and do it. He can't do it this turn, because we've got to wait for, I think, 6 turns after your prophet dies before you can do it again. So that is that. I don't think we're going to upgrade this place anymore. This is almost done being upgraded. We've started now doing our Master Smiths. And this is, what, 3 turns away? So anyway, early game Diplo seems to be okay. It is time to launch our assault on the Barbarian camp. So let's look at what we're doing. These guys are going to run in and flank. So these guys are on guard commander. This guy's going to run in. We have 2 lines of infantry, and the reason is I'm expecting this line to take some attrition, and then these guys will come fill in the gaps, so they're in a sparse line behind it, just to fill in gaps when this front line takes attrition. This guy is going to be casting Legions of Steel on them. And we've got wolves, which are going to run forward, and by about the time... I think this is about lined up right. By about the time these guys make contact, the wolves will start kind of curling around the edge here, if everything goes according to plan. So that's that. And next turn I'll probably send a message to Scaleria telling him I'm ending our nap, because I think after that it'll be 1, 2, 3 and then attack, or maybe wait. So let's think. If this turn, if I'm here, I say I end a nap. I think I'm gonna wait 2 turns. I think I'll send the message when I'm here, and that way I'll send it. He'll have 1 turn to prepare, and then I'll be here. He'll have another turn to prepare, and I'll be here. And then his 3rd turn to prepare, I'll be here, but then I'll be attacking. So I think that's how the timing will work out. And anyway, that's that. So let's take a look at my recruitment queue. We've gone back to only these. I haven't been mixing in Guardians because I've pretty much decided I'm going to war with Scaleria. And these guys are going to be a good bit better than Guardians versus a bunch of chaff. Here, you can tell we are also preparing for the war with Scaleria. Instead of getting these Mastersmiths, we are just going to be spamming out priests. And the reason is I'm going to bring some Mastersmiths from these, or from this fort primarily, as we get ready for our first conflict. But I'm not going to have any priests to bring, and I'm going to bring these guys. And you don't need too many, but if you have 4 or 5 priests, they are going to go a long way to killing any of the undead chaff buildup that's basically going to pile up in front of my very hard-to-kill infantry. So that is the plan. If you don't want fights with Scaleria going too long, especially with these really high encumbrance troops, because my guys will fatigue out and then they'll start taking damage. So priests are going to be an important element in all of this. And then also once he starts skelly spamming, priests will be pretty important. We're going to finish going up to Construction 4, and this is part of the reason for this is we really need hammers. And to get hammers we need boots. We have not gotten any Earth randoms so far. So if we were to get an Earth random, I probably would have switched priorities, but because we didn't, we need boots, and that will get us to Earth 3, and then we can make hammers. So that is that. No outgoing messages, so let's go ahead and go to the next turn, turn 13. Okay, so Uruk has sent us 600 gold, and that is in payment for a province. He's going to be taking this province from us next turn, I believe. I told him I put 0 PD in there for him. And the thought is that's about, over half a year of income. It's actually close to a year of income. But I'm getting resources from it, whatever. If he has it for a year, it'll pay for itself. It's a little on the high side, but otherwise I'm not going to give it to him, because I'd rather have it. Because, it's a mountain province. If I site search it for Earth, there's probably going to be Earth gems there. Okay, we found Sunridge. Message from Ryla. Hopefully Scaleria gets taken out by Jotunheim, or at least distracted long enough for us to gather our strength. As for Agartha, he obviously is dangerous and would like nothing more than to neutralize, and we would like for nothing more than to neutralize this potential threat. Unfortunately, on our own right now, it will seem quite difficult. Let's see how talks with his neighbors progress. Maybe you would be interested in some juicy Agarthan lands. After all, when he gets his statues in Twiceborn, Agarthans. Once he gets his statues and Twiceborns rolling, it will be hard to stop him. Okay. Which is true. MA Agartha is pretty tough later in the game. Okay, Sunridge. I think this is a Fire 2 site. So that's really nice. These we can turn into lightless lanterns once we get Construction 6, and that is when our research will really get going. Let's watch this Barbarian battle. So this is our first real fight as Middle-Aged Ulm, where you can see a significant army. We're starting to use some spell support. Okay, we got some of these guys. They suck a little bit less now. Actually, that's pretty respectable protection. 18. And then these guys, you can see they're up to 26 protection, which is pretty phenomenal. We're going to cast it one more time, probably right on the middle, I bet. Wait, did I just flying shard onto my own dude? Anyway. Okay, I guess he didn't decide to do Legions of Steel the 3rd time. A little annoying. See, our wolves are getting kind of murdered, but it's actually okay if these guys curled around on this flank more. Like if the barbarians came up if my wolves weren't there, they basically would have been killing my corner tile almost every round. But that basically allowed our infantry enough time to kind of flatten out into a line. And I think most of these guys, or a lot of these guys, are going to be 26 protection. But you can see these corner tiles are going to have a lot of trouble. Okay, our cav coming over here. Very nice. And we're getting them very close to route range. And there they go. They're going to start routing. Okay, our heavy cav taking some hits. Alright, and then we got the route. Okay, we can't ask for too much more. But you can see, even with all that, we took a fair amount of attrition. We lost 11 of our infantry, some of which were high-quality infantry. And then we lost 20 of our war dogs, but yeah, it was 100 barbarians. So this is... You can see why we prepared so hard and why we brought in an army, because this... I mean, a mage, because this would have been even worse if we didn't have all that stuff. Some events, we got a new trade route, and then we got some gold, which is pretty sweet. And actually, you know, one thing I'll say is this is why you need to playtest your nation ahead of time, because you might think, oh, it will just take, you know, 40 dudes and that will be enough, or, you know, this is just like a slightly harder expansion. No, 100 barbarians is a really hard expansion, and it took full dedication of a whole army to take it without huge losses, and we still took significant losses, but not devastating. So I think actually it looks like we are going to send our message to Scaleria. And I say, I think I need to withdraw from our NAP 3. This means including the turn you get this, we have 3 turns before any hostilities. And then I send another message saying, I admit I do this primarily out of fear of that nation. And I shiver. And then I send a message to Abyssia saying, I don't believe that we have a NAP. Should we... but I could be misremembering. Care to nap 3. And then a message to Jotunheim. Okay, I'll be attacking him soon. Let's plunder his lands before the skeletons show up. If we keep the his skeleton production forts under siege, he can't reanimate. So, what did I say? Yeah, so... One of the goals in fighting Scaleria early is to keep his forts under siege. You don't even have to break through, but just getting him under siege, especially if we get his main troop production fort under siege, he can't reanimate with all his priests. So, doing that early can be a big deal. And I think that's about it. So, what we're doing is, this guy's been site searching. He's going to continue. Site search up there. We didn't... Oh, we found... We already talked about that, didn't we? Yeah. So, basically, he's going to move in site search up here. This army is going to start moving back this way. This guy who kind of merged up the armies is going to come up here and pick up one of these dogs who ran away. Probably pick up that one, too. We're going to patrol here. Now, the thing is, this is where my armies are going to merge. So, people from my capital, which are going to join up from this force, aren't going to come meet them here, because then they would waste a turn moving here or here. Instead, we'll meet them either in this province or here. So we basically get one more turn to wait, which will be nice. We're also preparing to take his forts, which in that case we want to start getting sappers, because these guys are going to have a pretty phenomenal siege strength of 6. And if you compare that to my other troops, their siege strength is rather crappy at 1.2. So if we want to take his infrastructure quickly, which we do, then we're going to want some sappers. And sappers also have crossbows, which are going to be pretty nice in dealing with Rotarius and things like that. And they hit like a freight train with 21 damage. And they have pretty damn good armor. So they're a solid unit. The thing is, they're pretty expensive. They're 20 gold. But if you're resource constrained, they're not that big of a hit. So you can kind of mix them in with your other troops and tap out both recruitment points and resources, which is what we'll be doing. Here, I think what do we have? We've been getting some Black Knights. My thinking here is these Black Knights are going to be really good at holding up flanks on my army and then potentially flanking their army. And then also, if I need to raid, I can put them on one of my Black Lords and they'll do a pretty respectable job raiding. We got we're getting construction for this turn, so that will be good. And I think that's it. Now, I could be making Alquils. Like, this guy could be making Alquils, but they're pretty expensive. I mean, they're going to be 3, and that's going to eat into my production. I'm not going to. We're just going to wait till we have hammers. I need air gems later. I'm going to be, if my Pretender God has high air, and I'm going to be super frugal with my air gems, because I need to make the air booster, and then I'm going to need to make a Robe of the Magi pretty quickly. Okay, so I think that's about it for this turn. And I'm going to go preach to get my Dominion up in this province. This scout's going to go sneak around. I kind of want to see what's happening. Jotunheim's been at war, but I can't really tell. And I think that's about it for this turn. Let's go ahead and do the last turn for this episode, which will be turn 14. Here we go, turn 14. So we found a magic site, another air site. That's awesome. So this is an air 2 site, and that is going to bump our air income up to 4, I believe. And that is great. I mean, that's huge. It doubled our air income, and like I said, we're going to really need those air gems, because I have high air. I mean, not only do we need them for the air forging of quills and bows of war and things with our master smiths, but I have really high air income on my Pretender, or really high air paths on my Pretender, so I'm going to be wanting to do big air stuff in addition to this little stuff. So that will be pretty important. Okay, we can see that Uruk has taken this province after paying us for it. And we see our first battle between Jotunheim and Scaleria, so let's see what he's doing here. So he's got, okay, this does not look good. This is exactly why you got to be careful fighting Scaleria early. We don't even need to watch this battle. So he's going to get these guys blessed. They're going to get regen quickness. They're going to go berserk. But there's a bunch of problems. One is, this is a lot of undead chaff already, and we're still very early in the game. I mean, we're just past year 1. He's got a lot of undead chaff. He's got these Rotarius, which just murder his sacreds. And, I mean, just murder. And then, I thought I saw a Holy 3 guy here somewhere. Is one of these guys Holy 3? Okay, this is his prophet. This guy is going to apostasy him, and he is named Judge Dread. So Judge Dread is going to get to work. And, oh, we can see his blessed too, so let's take a look at it. I don't think there's a Satis in this game, so poison resistance, maybe not super high value. He did get the HP plus 3, which is important for later when you put regen on your communion. He's got fire resistance, which is pretty important in a game with Abyssia. Cold resistance, which goes with the fact that he picked cold 3. And one of the things Scaleria can do that I haven't really done in any of my games is if you take cold, you can do Grip of the Winter in conjunction with Rigor Mortis, which is pretty strong. But if you do that, you want cold resistance on your own guys. There's a strong argument to be made for that. Reinvigoration, which is nice. Penetration bonus, which is nice. And then Undead Leadership. Okay. Let's fast forward a little bit here. So let's see if all these guys got blessed. Here's most of them did. I wonder, why are these guys slow? Oh, these guys didn't get blessed. Now, I'm wondering what happened. Okay, we're going to watch this again. Because part of this is just, how did not all these guys get blessed? Holy Avenger. I don't know why you're casting that. Blessing. Okay, that was a big mistake. He should have cast Blessing twice. Holy Avenger, I mean, if you're going to cast it third. But do Blessing twice. This is enough giants that you're not going to cover this with one Blessing. And so there's a few things that happen. One is a lot of his guys are not blessed. 4 of his giants aren't blessed. And what that does in part is his guys get strung out. So these guys are going to get all tied up in combat before these guys have even entered. So they're going to get surrounded a little more. Now this guy's right up here in front too, because he cast it and ran in front of all of his giants. So he's probably going to die and they're probably all going to rout. Now if he had done Blessing twice and then Holy Avenger on the third time, then he would have been at the back. Like he would have been right here and run in to fight. And this guy, ideally, you don't even really want him fighting. You want him to like... So the script for this guy should have been Blessing, Blessing, Holy Avenger, attack, attack, cast spells. And what that would have done is he would have been back here. He would have blessed his dudes up. His dudes would have started running in like this. He would have done Holy Avenger. His dudes would be about right here. He would follow his dudes in. He would stop about right here. And then he would have started spamming out Banishment. Okay, and these guys are also, they're size 4, which is enough. If you're size 5 and above, nets are not going to even affect you. But at size 4, you can get affected. Now, these regenerating ones, they did pretty well. So, there's two things. One is, Scaleria was going to win this battle no matter what Jotunheim did. But Jotunheim had a pretty bad script. And if he had scripted correctly, he would have killed at least 30 more undead than he did. And his guys would have lasted a lot longer versus the Rotarius. The thing, too, is these guys hit like a freaking truck. So, and with quickness, they're going to hit a lot. And if you had Banishment killing the undead, then a lot more of these guys' truck-like hits would have gone onto the Rotarius, which is good. And then also, these Rotarius disappear after battle if they make contact. So every time, like, a lot of these guys in the back didn't even make contact. But even if he didn't win the battle, if he got everybody blessed up properly, then they would have made much better contact. They would have gotten rid of a lot of the undead, and so all the Rotarius would have at least made it into combat, and they would have disappeared after battle. Okay, and it looks like he got him with Apostasy. So this guy's now working for Scaleria. Great. Okay, so Jotunheim clearly is going to need my help. We had an unexpected event. We got 15 PD in this province, which is super useful. It's right on my border with Scaleria. And we got a Barbarian Lord. Cool. So that is nice. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Nope. Okay, so where does that leave us? We have sent our message to Scaleria. We're also sending a message back to Ryla, saying, Jotunheim and I are trying to rid the world of the undead cancer that is Scaleria. We figured this might interest you since Scaleria has a penchant for conquering underwater nations. Perhaps you want to join in some minor raiding. We will deal with his main armies. And hopefully he can just attack him up here on the peninsula. That would be nice. So this is officially a dogpile, but as you can see, like with this big freaking army, we clearly needed to dogpile because he already has a huge amount of undead production for very early in the game, and it's only going to get worse. Only going to get worse. And yeah, so now is the time to strike, and we are going to. So we're continuing to crank out priests here. This army is going to be moving up here, and now we are pulling everything from our capital and from our other forts. So we're bringing in these Black Knights. We're leaving this area mostly undefended, but it's not really militarized by our neighbors, so I feel kind of confident in that. And then I've done pretty good Diplo to say that we're going to have to go in on Scaleria ideally we would even triple team him, but this is one of the good things about Scalaria's starting position is he can really only be double teamed. So in that way, it's a good start for him. But anyway, so yeah, we're moving in a bunch of dudes. We've got 3 dudes coming in with Earth Gems. Now, because we finished construction, we're going to run up Conjuration 3 really quick. We may not need them, but they'll have them. We can also use them for fatigue reduction on our casting, because Legions of Steel is very high fatigue. So that will be potentially something we can do, but we can also use it if, for whatever reason, the math doesn't work out, we don't get Conjuration 3 in time, we can use the gems just to be able to cast it at all. So, just kind of a safety precaution, putting some gems on them. Here we are just preaching. I don't think it actually does anything in this province. We could move them here, but whatever. And we are starting troop production in this fort. Again, we're getting sappers and Black Plate infantry in our capital. Same business as before. But yeah, we are definitely cranking on these forts now. And you can see we have a fair amount of income. So we're not going to be going gangbusters, spending it by putting up other forts. This is going to be plenty of infrastructure for us. I might want another fort here. It's a reasonably high income province. And it can suck from these 2 lands to take some resources, but this will be coming up next turn. We're building a lab. I do probably need to think about templing this also, but we'll see. The other thing is, because we got construction for this turn, we are going to be making earth boots. So we're going to be making 2 pair so that we can make 2 hammers next turn. I could, if I was going to be super efficient, I would just do 1 earth boot and then I could make 1 hammer. But I want to make hammers faster than that. So we're going to do 2 earth boots and then 2 hammers, and then we're going to use those 2 hammers and 2 earth boots to make 2 more hammers. And that'll give us 4 hammers. I think that's what we'll do. But I'm also not going to wait that long on Alquil, so we did go ahead and start forging. We're going to make 1 a turn with this guy. I think we're doing some more site searching. Yeah, we're site searching here for air. And I think that's it. So anyway, war on Scalaria has been declared. We have seen Scalaria and Jotunheim drawing blood. Jotunheim also has been raiding Scalaria, so he's got a little raider here. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.